Happy May 2024 is what we're talking about today. And like the title of the video states, it's gonna be May. I'm a millennial, so that's just the only thing that I ever hear every single time. It's kind of like sweet precious Aquarius every time I say, oh, Aquarius. Gemini, that type of stuff. I have the windows open. It's nice outside, so you're going to hear some Pleasant Street chatter. But welcome to May. Welcome to May. I'm trying something new for this video. I don't know if you watched my Monday video, but I attempted to record this once, and I was just feeling a lot of human feelings last week. I attempted to do this already. It just wasn't the vibe. I wasn't my most authentic self in the video, and if you've been with me for a while on this channel, I will not offer you information if I am not in my most authentic space. So my Monday video is definitely a little bit more human. I've got nothing to hide. I don't have all the answers for any of you. And so I'm experiencing these energies in the same way that you are. So I'm here to be a guide, no guru. I'm here to empower you to be the most authentic version of yourself, to give you a little bit of the understanding of how you might be feeling so you can go off and run your busy life with a full toolbox full of tools. And some snacks. I have some hummus and some crackers right now and some tea. So welcome if you're new to my channel, if you're new to the table. My name is Sarah. I do very quantum mystic work. I'm a channel. I channel messages from source for the collective. Anything, it doesn't really matter what you call me. I've changed my bio so many different times. It's whatever words you would like to use to say that my soul and spirit and consciousness came from a different time and space to run this human avatar Sarah here on planet Earth in the Earth School during the time of the awakening, the ascension. I came from corporate in my human life, and I was training teams, or have been training teams, and a leader for my entire life, but been training teams professionally for over 10 years. So I'm extremely qualified to offer you this information, and I do it in a very efficient way. Efficient and long range. I just like long range, and I like long range things. You know, who else? Raise your hand if you watched the Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson podcast and the love affair that Tucker had of the long range. It just gave me hope. Podcast. Is this a podcast? I have no idea. I don't know what to call this. It's just you and me at the multidimensional cafe having coffee or tea and chit-chatting across time and space in a quantum multiverse. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But I love that there is hope and wonder for the long range stuff. So sometimes I'm like, hours and hours and hours of videos there, but it's good. Gave me hope. So today we're talking about May. I'm going to do things a little bit differently in this video, and I don't have all the planets up. I'm going to put them up as I talk about them. So normally for my, April, the April introductory video, I'll put the link for that below. Definitely do a debrief with yourself, and actually we'll talk about it. I'll put the link below, but it's just, I put up the planets for April 1st, and then we went into it from there. I don't want to do that this time. I want to offer you a little bit more accessible information. If astrology is not the lens, I speak in lenses around here. If that's not your language, it can become overwhelming. It becomes sometimes, the astrology content that I love and watch, and even when you pull up your own birth chart, it's just planets and lines and numbers and houses and things like that. So I created these wheels, and the one, that I use in my private Patron group and in my private sessions. You can see the grid that I use in the most recent one would be the Scorpio full moon reading. I always put the reading publicly on my YouTube channel for whatever sign the full moon or the new moon is falling in. So the full moon in Scorpio was in Scorpio, so I posted Scorpio. This new moon is coming up, will be in Taurus, and I'll post that publicly so you can get the understanding of it, as well as the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction video, part 2. I did that, and that is the grid that I use. So definitely go check those out if you're interested in more of the astrology deep dives. I also have a birth chart basics digital download that you can download. If you want to join the Patreon group, the link is right below, or the link is below for both of those items. And when you join the Patreon group, you get that offering for free. You get the birth chart basics for free, so you can start off with a successful toolbox. So today, I just want to highlight a few key dates and the astrological components that are going to, and again, we speak in lenses. So I'm going to give you the date, a lens, the planets involved, and then how you might be feeling. Because we know that everyone on the planet has access to this energy, whether they appreciate it and choose to utilize it for their most authentic timeline and for their development, or if they choose to ignore it and just run into concrete, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's totally okay. We all are experiential learners around here, and so how we choose to learn our lessons is our own. So we can't judge people for choosing to go on what we have viewed and labeled to be not the most authentic timeline. I'll tell a personal tale. Last year, in last summer and autumn, kind of before the eclipse portal in October, in my view, in hindsight, it had a lot to do with the Venus retrograde for me, was not on my highest timeline is that I had labeled. And this is, a conversation that I had with a dear friend that are one of the few people in my life that I allow to judge me and I share my open space with. So I'm sharing this very authentically with you, very vulnerably. And so I debriefed with her and I was like, yeah, I know that I wasn't on my highest timeline then. And that's why I had to do what I did. That's why I had to do that's why, I felt like so in it. I surrendered to it. But in hindsight, I was like, that wasn't my highest timeline. And she goes, it was your highest timeline because you chose to actively be in it. You were in your authentic space. You couldn't be at this timeline if you didn't go into that timeline and experience what you experienced, had all of the emotional vulnerability. You learned boundaries. You learned what you like, what you didn't like. You learned all of these lessons. So it can only be in hindsight. When you say to yourself, and you know more about consciousness and, you running your human avatar, you know more about that than you think that you do. When you say, I was so mad at myself, your consciousness is mad at your human. Your human does what the human's going to do. Your consciousness is pure. Your consciousness knows that it came here to experience good, bad, ugly, but there is no, from the consciousness space, good, bad, or ugly. Full body chill for that one. You know this. And I'm very self-aware that I know that I give you about sometimes 1 to 6 months worth of work in each public YouTube video. So I'm cognizant of that. So if anything that I say is ever overwhelming, just know, like the little description in the description of this video, my voice and my videos, my eyes, it's meant to unlock codes within you. When you listen to music, when you listen to the right podcast, when you listen to certain things, do you ever just get these amazing ideas or downloads, or you just feel in flow, you feel fresh and vibrant and wonderful? If I'm giving you too much, just listen and have coffee and tea with me, and then tomorrow you might understand a little bit more about the multiverse than you thought you did. Just saying. Just try it out. Okie dokie. It's gonna be May. We have a lot of change coming this month. A lot of planets are changing signs, a lot of big things. We have, our first new moon after the eclipse portal, so that's very exciting. I've already recorded, and probably by the time I post this, have posted my new moon in Taurus introductory video. That's in my Patreon group. The link is below. There's a 7-day free trial for that if you're keen to just kind of dip your toe in it and see if that's for you. But I will post that video publicly on the 7th. But the title of that video, I'll give this for you as a preview, is Since Nothing is Slowing Down, Ask for the Comfort That You Need. Yeah, there's no going back. There's no slowing down. There's no the flash of light comes and then everybody's happy and it's ambrosia and stuff. We're birthing this from the inside out. So since nothing's slowing down, ask for the comfort that you need. That's what's going on for the new moon. And there's just so much excitement and just so much change that's happening all over the place. So I don't want that to be something that you're fearing. I want that something to be that you're excited about, or also just very neutral. My belly just grumbled for that one. Just be neutral. Just be like, oh, this is so cool. Oh, I'm upgrading from the inside out. Rolling with the homies. A movie. Like that type of a vibe. There's no coinky dink that Taurus season, starts usually around 420, where it's just kind of like, chill, everybody chill. And even if you don't ingest cannabis flower, just chill. I don't smoke cannabis flower. I haven't. The last day that I smoked cannabis was December 30th, 2023. I'll use salves and tinctures and things like that so I can sleep and kind of bring me back down to human. But don't miss it. Don't miss it. I miss the instantaneous shutting off of my brain, but also now I'm feeling all of the feelings that I was avoiding. It's a very different vibration. So no judgment in any capacity. I am in no way perfect. I'm a human being just like you. And so I don't ever, like, I have so many dear friends that are light workers, that are powerful beings that ingest cannabis flower on a very regular basis. So there's absolutely, like, whatever recipe, whatever medicine your human avatar needs to be able to function in this reality, do it. Do it. I'd rather you plant medicine than anything, So we are going to get into the key dates. I want to list the dates first. No, I'm just going to do it step by step. Step by step. Step by step. Sorry, it's just like, it's usually like a DJ playing in my head. So we have this little guy, Pluto. That guy, don't worry about that little guy. What movie? Name that movie. He's going retrograde on the 2nd at 2 degrees of Aquarius. Right over here. Right over here. And so if you check in the playlist, the long range transits, I have a Pluto in Aquarius part 1 and part 2. Pluto will dip into Capricorn for one final stand, September to November. I think it's September 1st to November 15th in this year, and then, or no, November 19th, pardon me. And then on November 19th, it'll go into Aquarius for the rest of the next 21 years. So for a lot of people, it'll be the rest of your lifetime. For a lot of us, it'll be like a huge chunk of time. So this is actually a little bit of a big deal. And for my Aquarius Sun, Moon risings and my Scorpio Sun, Moon and risings, you're definitely going to be feeling this as what everybody's going to be feeling this, but just calm down. It's a big deal, but at the same time, it's going to be a slow burner. So Pluto, we're going to look at this as lenses. Pluto is our deepest, outermost transformative planet. It's a generational planet. This is a 20-year transit to go from here over to here, 21 years. So this says to me that a lot of us are either the transformation is coming from the inside out, and we're still navigating the current reality in like the Venn diagram of I'm half in this world and half in the new world, half in 5D, half in 3D. And I'll talk about that coming up as well, because there is a very defined split of timeline choices. But within the 5D, everyone's 5D looks different. My 5D is going to look different than your 5D. So it's not like one train track and then another train track. It's like trams, and it's like, oh, this one goes over here and this one goes over here and this one goes over here and this one goes over here. So learning how to discern, learning how to really navigate this current reality. I'm trying to think of, it's like I'm thinking of videos that I could offer as validation. Authenticity in an ever-changing world, that could be a really good one. It takes a certain level of disassociation to function as a human being in 2024. All of that jazz, because when you're on the 5D timeline, the 3D timeline is loud, and it's violent, and it's intense, and it's hard to watch. You're aware of it, we're all aware of it, and we pray for everyone in there. I won't repeat everything I say in the disassociation one. I'll put the link for that below. But truly, we can't fully participate in it anymore. It kind of, I'm trying to think of how I want to phrase this. Okay, this is a little crass. It's a little crass, but I'm going to say, you know, when you're driving somewhere that you don't want to go to, you're, doing something you know you shouldn't be doing, you're just like choosing to be a mystic and choose the wrong path, whatever that looks like for you. You know how you kind of get like sleepy on the way, you're like, I'm kind of tired. I'll perk up when I get there, but I'm kind of exhausted. That's your soul telling you, like, you're not supposed to be doing this, but you're doing it. So we're always going to support you. Your higher self is your helicopter parent. You're looking great, sweetie. You're awesome. Amazing stuff. Everything was beautiful. And then after you get off stage, you're like, higher self, I had kale in my teeth the entire time. They're like, you wouldn't have listened to me if I told you anyways. So I'm just here for you. So remember that. If you feel like you're getting sleepy going to do something, check yourself before you wreck yourself. All with the quips today. So this to me, if we just look at, this is the general astrological wheel, so we just look at Aries going all the way around over to Pisces. Aquarius runs the 11th house of community, friendships, and wishes for the future. It's also a fixed positive air sign. So this says to me that you are going to have to loosen a little bit of your rigidity if something is not working, if something is not right for you, and surrender to something greater coming your way. Because if you're trying something and it's not slapping, and it's not slapping, and it's not slapping, maybe there's something that's so much better for you on the other side of that concrete slab that you're constantly walking into. You just walk around that slab. So I feel as though for a lot of people that are on their most authentic path, this is going to be looking at certain addictive patterns, certain, it's not going to be so big. Yeah, it's like little touch-ups. Like this is like dress rehearsal type stuff. This is little tweaks and little changes that will have, it's like the razor's edge type theory is what's coming to my brain. I'm having full body chills for this one, where it's, when you do something, when you're not supposed to do it. When you do something and you're really supposed to do it, but you don't want to do it. I was knowing my inner teenager is raging when I was like, I don't want to. Or I want this, I want that, and she's got sass and things like that. And you have to tame them, definitely so. But sometimes giving in to what it is that your inner adolescent wants or needs placates them a little bit quicker. I'll give an example. So on Friday and Saturday, it is Monday as I record this. So on Friday and Saturday, my inner teenager, she was just pissed. There's no name for it. There's nothing. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I'm tired. I need a day off. I want a steak. I want to eat it. I don't want to cook it. I want somebody else to cook it for me, and blah, 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 blah. And so I sat with her and I was like, I'm going to work. I have my sessions. I have my things. All is well. You got to sit down, shut the F up, and wait your turn. And then on the day off, I'm going to take you out. I'm going to take you out for a nice salad with a steak on top of it. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be great. So I went to my bougie girl lunch and I took myself out to Davio's and it was lovely. It's just so beautiful and wonderful. I brought my Lord of the Rings. I'm in the tail end of the Two Towers and Frodo is not my favorite character. So even then I was like, haha, inner adolescent. So it's like, you have to be able to take care of and play with your inner child and inner adolescent in ways that might not make sense, but I was not given that as a child. I was not given that. So I'm learning how to take care of the components of myself and the intricacies of my inner self in ways that I never was able to before. I can't time travel and go back in time to the early 90s and be like, hey, parents, this is how to take care of me, but I can take care of myself now. And I can give myself those things now. And it's important that you do. Because I promise you, your inner adolescent, if you let her take over, you let him take over, they will destroy your life. Hi, I've been borderline homeless before because my inner adolescent was raging. Yep, it'll happen. I can only speak from my statements, so I can only tell you what I've been through. So hopefully you don't have to do it that way. So I can empower you to help yourself. So Pluto is one of my ruling planets, and for Scorpio risings, again, you're going to be feeling this very, very intensely. Just know that you're being supported. You're being supported by the planets. It's kind of like when you get some of the more intense tarot cards in your tarot spread, whether it be the Tower or the Devil or the Death card. First of all, Death is the Scorpio card. So again, this is going to be like everything comes back around again. But it just means that the universe is here supporting you. When you get the Tower card, it means that, inappropriate top-down structures are going to pop off. Things that you don't need in your life or something that you were not privy to is going to show itself. That's okay. That's okay. We know when I see the Devil card, again, like these are some of my ruling cards. My moon sign is in Capricorn and the Devil card is a Capricorn card. He has the glyph of Saturn on his hand. So I can't look at that card and just be like, oh my God, that's my intuition. That's my moon sign. So when I see that, it's like, okay, check your third house, Sarah. What's going on? Check yourself before you wreck yourself again. But what we can see on that card, and I'm going to see if I can just pull it up right now. I always have my tarot cards with me. Did it already come? Did it happen on my spread? No. Ha! Here you are, devil. the chains that are around their neck, they can effortlessly take off. Just so when you see that, it's like, where am I limiting myself? Where do I not feel that I'm limitless? Where am I choosing to be in bondage? Where am I choosing to be here? So I think that just to go with the Pluto going retrograde on the 2nd, wraps that up nicely. So these are all active choices. Yeah, I talked about that in the new moon in Taurus video. We chose to come here to play human during the time of the awakening, during this, just the planetary time. But we live in a universe that has specific laws. There are different laws for the planet. The law of non-intervention. Your guides, that was good so that, you know, darker things, we can't, you know, be taken over in that capacity. They have to stay hidden in plain sight. But also our galactic friends, the good guys, can't help us unless we ask for it. So we have to declare what it is that we need and what we want and all those things. Because again, they're right there just being like, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? And if you're like, nope, I'm just grateful to be alive. They're like, but you're struggling. You can ask for help. I'm literally right here. I just want to help you. And you're like, no, I'm fine. Be grateful for what you're grateful for, but ask for what it is that you need and want. See the difference? I think so. I want to give an example. It popped into my head, and sometimes I don't know if I give too many asides, but I don't care. So my restaurant, there was, you know, I live in an East Coast island town. I live in Gloucester, and we celebrate in the summer and springtime almost every single weekend. We have Fiesta coming. We have the sidewalk bazaars coming. We have the block parties coming. We have all, like literally almost every single weekend of the summer, there is something going on that shuts down Main Street and big things are happening. So there was an event that was going on like in the vicinity of where I waitress. So, you know, they asked me to come in early, a few hours early, and just to be there, you know, in case people show up. And nobody showed up. So I just was working for a few straight hours and did not make a single penny. And so when my dear friend showed up for the shift and she was asking me like, how did it go? And I was like, nobody came. And she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm grateful for my fingers and toes. And she just laughed. And so you can be grateful for what it is that you do have, but you don't have to put a pretty picture on the things. Yeah, it was not, I don't like not making money and showing up with the expectation of making money. So it was one of those, I'm grateful for my fingers and toes. Always, I have opposable thumbs. I can pick up a coffee cup. I can drink my coffee and tea. I got to spend time with people that I really respect and admire. That, all beautiful things. But I don't need to be grateful for things that make my ears bleed. I think that made sense. Okay, so that was the 2nd. On the 7th of the month, we are going to have our new moon in Taurus at 18 degrees. Like I said, already recorded my introductory video for that. If you'd like to join the Patreon group, the link is below. It's a very accessible $10 a month investment, and I offer a 7-day free trial if you're interested in that. But if not, I post it on the day of. My introductory video I post on the day of, as well as for my Taurus Sun, Moon, and Risings. For my Taurus Sun's happy birthday, SUNs, I'll post that publicly, that clip it of the all signs reading. I'll post that. And the title of the video, again, was Since Nothing is Slowing Down, Ask for the Comfort That You Need. This is the 2nd house. This is bougie. This is money. This is values. This is access to resources. People are resources. Community is resources. All different things. All different things. So that is going to be its own separate video, so I'm not going to completely repeat myself there. But just know that, yeah, the world has changed, and the world is changing completely, and the world is... Every single day, there's something new and exciting and wonderful happening. It's just like the way that I visualize it, like every day, people are meeting the person that they're supposed to spend the rest of their lives with. Every single day, even in this moment, someone's getting the best job that they've ever wanted. In this moment, someone is, you know, leaving their job and going to do their passion. Or, you know, for my females, maybe they're getting married and their husbands are going to be taking over the financial responsibilities. People are finding their divinity, finding their place. Someone's video is just popping off and they're finding their audience. Yeah, things are happening. So just imagine that in this moment, people are meeting for the first time and they're awkward and they're googly-eyed at each other. Like, this is exciting. It's exciting. If you feel as though any of what I'm saying is disassociated, please go to the link of watching it takes a certain level of disassociation to function within this world right now, because this is 5D. We process instantaneously. If something a little bit sad or somber or negative is happening, I want you to swan dive into it. Go back and watch my Monday video it was this Monday, so it was the 29th, that be in what you're in. The Monday videos, my picture is always put to the side so you can tell which one is which, but be in what you're in. Yeah, you can't have a good day every single day, but it's only your human brain that says this is good or bad. So take that lens away of good or bad and just be authentic and be in what you're in. If you're feeling 80%, then be an 80% and do an 80% amount of work. That's okay. That's okay. Set yourself up for success and be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. So that's going to be a wonderful, very accessible time for us to be manifesting. I'm super jazzed about that. I also want to put down honorable mention. We're going to have, and the moon scooty doots. So I'll just leave this here. But the sun on the 13th is going to conjunct Uranus. So we had that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. I'm only honorable mentioning that because the sun is like the lighthouse in the sky. It's shining its light on certain houses and certain areas of your natal chart. I'm using the general astrological wheel which is an Aries rising. So if you don't know the time of your birth, just watch these and watch for your sun sign and then watch for your rising sign, which is for people that don't know the time of their birth. This can be their rising sign. So it's kind of shining a light where lightning struck. Jupiter, Uranus, Jupiter expansion, Uranus, galactic awakening, lightning bolt energy. Really, we're conjunct at 21 degrees of Taurus. I have 2 videos on that. Definitely go check out the toolbox. Or no, it's not in the toolbox. It's in the longer range transit videos, Jupiter, Uranus, part 1 and part 2. Tons of information there. But this just says to me the lighthouse in the sky is highlighting this area of your chart, this area. So on the 13th is going to conjunct Uranus. On the 15th, before I do the next one, we're going to have Mercury going into the sign of Taurus. Mercury's been in Aries for a bit because we had that retrograde. So I definitely want you to debrief with yourself. Mercury went into Aries on March 9th. Mercury went retrograde April 1st. Mercury went direct April 25th. So it's been a while. So on the 15th, Mercury finally goes into Taurus. So we had to learn a lot of how to stand up for ourselves, how to, the Aries is the infant baby ram. So it's the I am statement. I'm just going to highlight that we had Chiron. We had Mercury conjunct Chiron for the new moon. So Mercury is now over here. So there's a little bit of a wince. I also have the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra right now. These are all interconnected. How, Sarah? A, the sign of Aries. They're in that house. B, the North Node is our head of the dragon. It's our collective destiny. It's what we're working towards, what we're going into in that I am statement. I do have complete videos on these things. So check the longer range transits because I'm not going to repeat myself, but these are films of how we're going to be feeling. These are lenses of how we're going to feel. North Node, what we're going towards. Aries, I am. Being an entrepreneur, being independent in relationships. South Node, what we're releasing. Old karmic patterns, old past life patterns. It's the warm blanket. It's where we feel cozy and comfy. In the sign of Libra, which is the people pleaser on the negative side of things. It's so easy because of all of this energy to choose violence. For a lot of people, lying is as effortless as breathing. We have to use our discernment. You have to be able to say, it's kind of like, have you ever been the person that, like a new person joins the group or a new person comes in and you're like, they seem nice, but they're not. And I don't care. I will die on this mountain. And then later on, you find out that they weren't nice. And that everybody was like, you were right. And I was like, that's just my gut. That was just my intuition. Usually the happy, shiny people. I want to give honorable mention. I'm listening to my guides right now. I want to be very specific with the words that I use right now. Everyone has the capacity to do this work. So if you resonate with my work, amazing, amazing. If you don't, amazing. That means I'm just not the light worker. I'm not the channel for you, and that's amazing. For me, I resonate with those who are empowering you to do this work on your own, to connect you with your guides. Not to say you need me every single day, you need me once a week, you have to do this. I'm the first person to say all of my offerings, when you're done, when they don't resonate, then unsubscribe. Then you don't need my content anymore. It's a little weird. Like, there were tarot readers, there were channels, there was astrologers, there's so many people that I've been following since my awakening. Then I was like, no, they don't resonate anymore. What? I can't watch. I watch it every week and I just can't. It's not easy stuff. The parable that I've been giving over and over right now, is there's lots of change happening for a lot of people, is the flowers are going to die, but you still buy the bouquet. You still enjoy the flowers for what they were. You don't buy them with the sense of you're going to die. You say, wow, you're so pungent and lovely and beautiful and wonderful. And every time I smell you and every time I see you, I feel like a better person. And I'm just transported to this beautiful summer day. And then you have reverence for them, but then you buy more flowers. So if people are leaving your life, if your healthy boundaries people don't like, it's just because they liked your unhealthy boundaries, then bye-bye. Then bye-bye. But it doesn't diminish the pain. It doesn't diminish the feelings. I'm not telling you that what I'm saying is not easy stuff. I mean, it's not tough stuff. It's not always easy. When you come from a past of people pleasers, when you're the first person in your family line to even set healthy boundaries, it's bigger than you. So it's just super feely. So I just wanted to offer that validation. I don't know where I went or where I came from. So just wanted to say that. Mercury going into Taurus is going to feel nice. It's going to feel nice. A lot of people aren't even going to entertain it anymore. There are people that are post-narcissist or that were raised with people with narcissistic tendencies, that are, actively post-breakup, that are, within transition with their families, whatever it may be. But Mercury, or communication planet, going into the sign of Taurus, is going to be like, I'm not even going to entertain that. You can go back to the text messages, and I have streams and streams and streams of long whys and long time where I've really just given you everything I can, but I'm not even gonna do that. Not even gonna. We learned a lot with Mercury and Aries. We learned a lot. A lot of people had to really stand up for themselves, myself included, in ways I did not expect, I didn't anticipate. But now, looking back, since Mercury's direct right now, it's integrated. It's fully integrated. So when you utilize the energy of the planets and you just swan dive into it, you learn all of these efficient lessons, and then you move forward for the next planetary alignment. That's what's up. All right. Jupiter, almost done. We're going to talk about Jupiter again, but on the 18th, another honorable mention, the sun is going to conjunct Jupiter. That's expansive energy. So I have the sun conjunct Jupiter in my natal chart. So I can be, if you've ever met me in my human life, I'm a golden retriever. Sometimes I'm like, you can fly right now. Let's try it. You can do this. You can manifest anything instantly. You can manifest $1 million in this moment. And you're like, we're in line at the grocery store. I don't care. That can just be, you take it out right here. You do the thing right here. So it can be a little bit obnoxious. It can be, and I'm speaking from I statements because I have this natally placed in my chart. It can be a little bit delusional sometimes. Oh, just a little. I see myself. So just use a little bit of discernment with that one. Just use a little discernment. And it is also highlighting where lightning struck. Like look exactly at like the last decan of Taurus in your chart. And this is kind of where like exciting new opportunities are going to come in. But also it's like, imagine that you get 10 job offers. Imagine that you get 10 suitors. Imagine that you get like 10 of whatever it is that you are looking to manifest, 10 new clients, 10 whatever it may be. And you have to be able to say like, okay, yes to this. Nope, I'm not a specialist here, so no to this. Okay, I'll set up a date here, but oh, actually, no, red flag immediately. I'm just going to say no and move along. It's kind of like we're playing a little bit of like, it's like rapid fire things coming in. So just be aware of that. I just say be aware of that. That was the 18th. I did the 15th. Now let's go to the 20th. Is when the sun is going into Gemini. It's going to be so much fun. I love Gemini season. I'm an Aries sun, and Gemini season is just so much fun. It's just such a good time, honest to goodness. Like Geminis, they are just the most adventurous, most thoughtful, not thoughtful, but they're the most intelligent, quick thinking, gregarious. Like they're just so awesome. They're run by Mercury. They're mutable air energy. And also for my Gemini sun, moon, or risings, I just have to highlight this, and I've mentioned this numerous times. If anyone has ever told you that you interrupt too much, or you're just so ADD or ADHD, like they just never really took the time to get to know you. Yes, if you like really partake in the psychological labeling of things, then absolutely, if that's something that you identify as, then like go with it. But Geminis have two functioning brains, sun, moon, and rising. So if a Gemini is telling a story, just listen. Just listen. They tell the best stories. Honest to goodness. In the Patron group, I make the joke because like when I'm pulling tarot cards, I'll let like a bunch, I don't have just like one qualifier, I'll let like a bunch pop out, and it's like a Gemini telling a story. My tarot readings are literally like a Gemini telling a story. I'm like, this is the backdrop. This is the scene. The year was this. The sun was placed here. The clouds were rolling in, but then there was like a beautiful parting of the clouds and stuff like that. And you just like, let them give the backstory. Okay, just let them give the whole story. It might take hours. I do not care. Listen to the whole story. You'll be a better person for it. If you have a Gemini in your life, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'll do a whole video on the season, so I'm not gonna, I just wrote, yeah, buddy, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. I'm very excited about that. Okie dokie. So the 23rd, there is a lot happening all at the same time. So I am going to, which one do I want to start with? Venus. Oh, thank God. Okay. Neptune is going to be, is at 28, 29 degrees of Pisces, at the very last degree of the astrological wheel. It's also called the critical or the anaretic degree when you're at 29 degrees of any sign, which can show the shadows, show the shadow side of it. So Neptune has been in Pisces for a while. It's not going to go into Aries until March of 2025. It's going to go kind of holding hands with Saturn, which is right over. Meow. Is Saturn a part of any of the things that I'm going to talk about? No. So I'm happy to put it up. Lilith is also not a part of anything that I'm going to talk about. Virgo over here. No, Lilith doesn't change signs until June. So we're in good shape there. I will talk about Mars, so we're going to leave that there. Okie dokie. So we're going to have on the 23rd, I know I'm all over the place, my apologies. I like this. I like doing it this way, actually. So I know I'm mixing it up and it feels good. It's a good thing. Neptune at the last degree of Pisces. We also have Saturn in Pisces. I have a whole video on that in the long range transits. Mental health is no joke right now is what I labeled that. So Neptune is our Poseidon in the sky. Tons of water energy. Neptune in Pisces, extra, extra, extra water energy. So, Pam Gregory, an incredible astrologer that I love and respect and have followed for many years, speaks of this. She's a British gal and she's living in that area. And she said, like, they've had more rain in Europe than ever. Like, that farmers are like, they've never seen this in their lifetime. There's, flooding, in my East Coast island town. There is, when we have big storms, like the back shore gets washed over. You know, you can't even drive to the beach in certain areas. Like driving past the high school is not a thing. Like it's a lot. It's a lot. The water's coming up. And so we know this. We understand this. We know flooding. We know, and a lot of, you know, personally, the micro of that is tears. Sometimes we're just crying. We don't understand why. Sometimes we're just feeling all these emotions. We don't understand why. The more negative use of this energy, because, you know, if you have this language, you can use it for good or evil. The negative side of this is lying, addiction, distraction, scrolling, disassociation, disillusion, gaslighting. I have a whole video to record on what our attention is, and how, you know, if you're overly concerned with things that are, you know, happening on the other side of the planet, you're kind of gaslighting yourself from, I don't have to do the inner work. I don't have to look at myself. No, there's war over here. How do you not care? It's like, no, you just pray and do what you can and be a better person here and now. And again, certain level of disassociation. If that was triggering for anyone, I'm not like, just go watch that video. I'm covered in paint. You can't miss it. Can't miss it. But I'm going to record that because it's very easy for us to get caught up in any of the psychological manipulations that are going on. But once you're out of it, you have to stay out of it, and you have to be aware of it and watch it from above. Watch it from your safety bubble. Watch it from, okay, I see that. I see how that's triggering me. I see how that could affect me. I see how that could come in and weasel its whispers in. But like I had said in that safety first, when you connect to, you know, interdimensionals and channeling and things like that, once you declare it, it is law. Once you've chosen your trajectory and your timeline and the train or the tram that you're on, yes, on 5D, there's numerous trams and you can hop trams and stuff, but you can't go back to the 3D tram or train, pardon me. You can't. You chose your train, and now you're on new trams, and now you're in 5D, and now you're functioning in this world. You are creating your universe. You're creating things from the inside out, working with the astrology, working with your growth mindset, working with your most authentic self and your higher self. But the other train is loud. It's going to get louder. It's going to be more troublesome and more, you know. And I also want to highlight, I want to time out for a minute, that this day, the 23rd, this all has to do with the 23rd of May. It's a very easy, for me, as I was researching this, a very easy way for me to say, oh, okay, there might be a human distraction. There might be something coming that this is like, what did I write down? Herd mentality. Yeah, like grab your tops and pitchforks, like that type of mentality. So with that lens, with that view, it's kind of like, okay, well, I'm on a train and I see that there's no tracks over there. I'm just going to get off at this stop. Oh, you all see that there's no tracks, but you're choosing to stay on the train? Okay, cool. All right. Nice to see you. We had some chats. I'm just going to get off the train. You're aware because you're aware that there's no tracks down there and you want to stay on the, okay, cool. Yeah. You know, as awakened ones, we can't wake anybody up. You just have to stay on your course. That's it. So where's my wand? Okay. What did I say? Few things happening all at the same time this day. I have Venus conjunct Jupiter here, sextiling Neptune. Yeah, Venus conjunct Jupiter, which is sextiling Neptune all day, but Venus is going to go into the sign of Gemini that day, all happening on this same day. Because this is at 29 degrees, so sextile can be a few degrees off. Jupiter seems to be at 29 degrees. Yeah, 29, and this will be at 29 degrees, and then going to 0 degrees of Gemini, and then that same day we will have the full moon in Sagittarius, 2 degrees and 54 minutes. It's sextiling my natal sun by the 2nd. I don't know what that means. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm excited. Yeah, my natal sun is at 2 degrees and 54 minutes of Aries. And so it's sextiling completely. The full moon is. Yeah. interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, sextiling. And then trining. Oh, girl, this is going to be interesting. So what did I say? It's distraction to come, herd mentality. This is herd mentality. Grab your thoughts and pitchforks. Okay, so why would you say that, Sarah? Full moon. We all become the werewolf. And I will have my whole Patreon group. I'll have a full video on this. So we'll get into it, but it was important enough for me, if you don't watch my astrology videos, because I have a lot of my leaders that will watch the month ahead videos, and then I'll have more of my spiritual community, I don't even like using that term, but more of the astrological, the woo community, that will watch more of the introductory videos to the new moons and the full moons, as well as the introduction to like the astrological seasons. So it doesn't really matter which lens, which way you view it. This is worth chit-chatting about, because it just has a little bit, because it's mutable air energy, mutable fire energy. Mutable positive air energy, mutable positive fire energy, fixed positive air energy, Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So it's kind of, it's like our mental spaces is going to be challenged in a certain way, where it's like what we believe might be challenged. A lot of people, I think it was like Elizabeth April that prophesized that there'll be like a big political person that does like a switching sides type thing, or just if you still participate in that, there might be some big hullabaloo, whatever that may be. There could be just some sort of like a bigger thing that could take you away from focusing on what is on your plate right now. And if this is your first time here, when I'm talking to you, my guides show me pictures over here, and then I usually have another universe over here. So I've got like 3 universes, like 3 screens, for lack of a better term, that I'm looking at. So I apologize if my tism is showing and I'm just like focusing on what my guides are showing right now. Because there's never, how do I say? It's like, go back to the Boy Scouts. Always be prepared. If you know that you're going to the beach, do you check the tides? Yeah. You can go to the beach at high tide, but there's not going to be much beach, and you can still play around in the water, but you just can't like put out your blanket and like cook on the grill. We know this. If you're going on a hunting trip, probably prepare yourself. If you're going on a hiking trip, probably prepare yourself. If you're going into a month that there might be a distraction, same lens. Just prepare yourself. If anything ever is a fear-based mentality, that you ever hear anything that's fear-based, it's like, okay, around the eclipse when everyone's like, the lights were going to go out, blah, 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 blah. And I'd said this in that video as well, the new moon eclipse in Aries, conjunct Chiron. This will pass, stay close, definitely go check that video out. If that was something that you were scared of, then just tuck a few cans of food away and a few of your favorite little sweet treats that are shelf stable, and then you're done. Candles and matches, you're done. Whatever you feel that you need to prep, to be prepared going into certain uncertainty, do that so that you don't have to be in the fear vibration. Set yourself up for success. You're preparing for a big meeting. You prepare ahead of time. You're going into an event. You shop around for some clothes. Anything. You're a human being. You need to go to the grocery store. You need to have food. Anything. So it's not meant to be frightening. It's meant to just be empowering, to say, oh, okay, I have these little bits of information that around this time, there's going to be a lot of change and excitement. And because I could advantageously use this energy, maybe there's going to be an entity that says like, I don't want them to be sovereign. I don't want this. Then you just set yourself up for a better day. Yeah. I think that hit. What's next? 25th. Jupiter is going to go into Gemini. I will do an entire video on that. That's a year transit video. So that's a very exciting, there's a lot of, exciting, beautiful energies that are happening right now. So Jupiter, our very expansive planet, our gregarious, luck be a lady tonight planet, is going into the sign of infinite information, the Gemini, the twins, downloads galore. This is also on the general astrological wheel, the house of early learning and short trips. What do you mean by early learning? The first time that you learned the boundaries of your communication, whether you grew up with siblings and you learned okay, I can only say this, but then when the older sibling says this, I got to come back. Whether you grew up in a safe, healthy family environment or you didn't, whether it was the wait till your father gets home, or Don't cry in the grocery store. Wait till we get in the car. Don't show your emotions. Like, a lot of those things might come up, and it will also be information overload, even for things that you like. And I don't know when I talked about this, but some homework that I'm doing before this is to really trim down the fat on the people that I subscribe to. And it could even be like, how do I say? People that I really respect what they're doing and what they're showing. What my human cannot handle on the general scrolling is, when people do reaction videos, or people like accounts that I really respect, they'll show a video and be like, can you believe this is happening? I know that it's happening. I don't want to see it right now. Like, not when I'm just opening up my phone and I'm checking to see if any of my clients have messaged me. I use my apps for work, not for, like, I don't do this anymore. That's my addiction that I'm really working on. And it's like, it was highlighted in my channeled message. If you're my Patreon group, like, I went first and I was going down the scrolling rabbit hole, because it's just without drinking, without smoking, I don't have sugar, I don't have any of these things. So these little things, just for my human, addiction is a voice that lies in your own voice. And for me, it was like, this is normal, this is fine, everything's okay. But it can't be anymore. It can't be. If I want to go and watch something specifically, then I want to go to the page of the person that I know and respect, and then watch their content until I've, had enough, and then I'm done. Again, the disassociation video, if that is in any way triggering to you. And remember, as someone who sleeps with their phone in the next room, if anything is going to happen, you'll know. If there's an emergency, if there is something that needs to be said, needs to be done, you will know about it. I promise you. I promise you. And so, where even was I? Jupiter going into Gemini, I would recommend really just trimming down on even muting. If you're on Instagram, I don't have the applications that I use are Instagram as well as YouTube. And so I've been in the process of unfollowing people, not that I don't like them in any capacity, but if their, content lowers my vibration, that's on me. They're saying great stuff. And for a lot of people, they're teaching incredible work. These are people that I respect and that know that they're right, but that it's just not the vibration that I need to receive right now. So I need to be cognizant of my boundaries and what it is that I'm open to receiving. This is going to be offerings galore. The word gluttony is coming into my head. The word gluttony of information, where, some people identify so much with their intellectual side of things. So it can be just like more, kind of like the end of The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, the Indiana Jones movie, where she's like, no more. It's like that type of a vibe. So look at the twins. Say, I know that this is coming. Why don't I choose to receive all the information from these specific, content creators, channelers, light workers, whatever you need, whatever your realm is, entrepreneurs, like leaders, whomever, and swan dive into it. And then, when a trusted colleague or a trusted friend sends you something like, oh, check this person out, then invite it in. It's not just randomly being like, oh, what am I going to watch today? None of that. Don't give the universe, not even the universe, don't give the human world the chance to seep into you. Choose what to put on your plate. And I'll do a whole video on that. That's the 25th. All right. Honorable mention, the 29th, we're going to have Mars conjunct Chiron over here. And then on the 31st, I'm going to have Mercury conjunct Uranus over here. For a lot of people, again, this is going to be two separate groups. For a lot of people, Mars conjuncting transiting Mars conjunct transiting Chiron in Aries says to me, you're going to see how powerful you are even wounded. Like, Chiron is the wounded healer, the wounded warrior. Your wounds are sometimes what you're here to teach, what you're here to master, but then, empower others to do that. The whole story of Chiron, and do your own research on that. Mercury conjunct Uranus, there's a lot of people that have a lot to offer that and I do this too. I can get caught up with the hullabaloo and like I was like, everyone's a light worker. Is anything that I'm saying, is anyone even listening? Is anyone even listening? Does what I'm saying even matter? You know, if I stopped doing what I'm doing, you know, people can just duck, go all this information and find it. So there's a little, that's the woe is me side of things. So with Mercury conjuncting Uranus over here, this might be a new way, I'm having a full body chill, a new way to do something, a new way to create your environment. Yeah, a lot of this is going to just be instantaneous downloads and information. I feel with Jupiter in Gemini, you're like, I either get it or I don't get it. I need 2 more pieces of information. Tomorrow I'll get it, and then tomorrow you get it. It's just going to be quick. It's going to be quick, which I think is going to be helpful for us. And for my patrons, like I'd said in the new moon introductory video, and if you're watching this after or on the new moon, that was available, you know, like a week in advance to my Patreon group, like nothing is slowing down. We're on a roller coaster. We're on this ride called human existence, and we are asking for what it is that we need. We're manifesting a little bit quicker. We're being a little bit more efficient in our processes since we're more pure on the inside. I think it hit. And also, if you're into numerology, on the 1st of May, the sun is at 11 degrees of Taurus, and on the 1st of June, the sun is at 11 degrees of Gemini. So 11, 11, 11, 11. You're right where you're meant to be. It's good. Anything else? I'll talk about that in the whole video. The last little thing that I'll leave you with is there's no one, everyone is a soul. Everyone is a soul, in my perspective. You know, there's a lot of people that will say, oh, there's NPCs. Some people are just people. Some people are just this. Everyone is a consciousness. All the way down to the ants, to the, you know, fireflies, to the wasps, to the good people, the bad people, the good guys, the bad guys, everything has consciousness. And so when you think a thought about someone, that thought has to hit you first. This is a Bob Proctor language. Bless his heart and soul. He's been passed away from this human life for many years, but is more active in my life and in my teachings than ever. Definitely go check out his page, Bob Proctor, Proctor Institute. And he spoke of this. A thought drops into the top of your head and then saturates through your human avatar before it comes out of your mouth and you speak it into existence. So when you have enemies, you have people that you judge, people that you dislike, all these different things, that thought has to hit you first. So when you see people that you've labeled as unconscious, use it as a mirror. Use it as a mirror. You can do 2 things. You can say, thank you, the theory of the egg. Thank you for taking on that soul contract so that I do not have to. That's displeasing for my human, and I am really grateful. Like, express gratitude and just say, thank you. That's displeasing to me, and I'm glad that I don't have to participate in that. Thank you. That's one way to do it. Or you can look at it as a mirror and say, this person is, you know, so rigid in their belief systems and they're so unconscious. Where are you rigid in your belief systems? Why do you think that your way is the only way? Right? This person is so this. Where do you see that in yourself? Use it as a mirror. Just use it as a mirror. Because it's easy to do the work when we don't identify so much with it, but we find gratitude for the triggers. I'm going to do a whole video. I've had it written down for a while, expressing gratitude for the trigger, because I talk about triggers a lot, and some people might be new to that language. Like, oh, I'm so triggered, or trigger. A lot of people are saying that right now, or that triggers me. And I've made the joke before. You know, some of my older content, I definitely was like, oh my goodness, what video was it? Right, gratitude for the trigger. Nope, it's gone from my brain. But yeah, some of my older content, I definitely was a little bit more like, you're on the wrong side of history. It's like, no, I've made some of my most important decisions when I was completely unconscious, and I learned what I needed to learn, and I did things that made me who I am. So we have to find a little bit more grace for everyone. Everyone's just doing their best right now. There's no playbook, there's no dress rehearsal, there's no way for us to navigate these energies. We can use astrology, we can use prophesizations, we can, I like astrology because it's just math, history, and patterns. And it just says, okay, that's how things were, this is how it might be. So that's what I use astrology for. It can also be helpful because when we awaken and you recognize, whoa, I have all 12 houses, all these areas of my life that I have to change and be the most authentic version of myself and dive into this and dive into that. It's like, no, use astrology is like, oh, okay, I have a new moon here, so I'll work on this, and then I have a full moon here, and then I'll work on that. And then this big planet is going in here, so I'll work on this, and then this big planet is sitting here, so I know this is going to happen. And you can kind of just like get a little bit of a roadmap to how to navigate. Just a thought, because it could be overwhelming. That's not what I want. That's not what I want for you. I want you to feel supported. I want you to feel vibrant and empowered to do this work on your own. With the North Node in Aries, there are no gurus on this planet. I'm sorry, and this is crass, and I've said this numerous times, but if you poop on the toilet the same way that I do, you're no guru. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But that's just my perspective and my practice. Yeah, I'm here for you as long as you need me, and then you go off and unsubscribe, and that's it. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. I'm gonna ask my guides if there's anything else. Okay, so they do want me to read this little thing where it's like, play into it if you want, but it's like knowing you're free, and the actors don't know that they're acting. So when you've seen someone that you've labeled as unconscious and they still participate, and whatever ideology, whatever thing, whatever hullabaloo, whatever it is, and you're triggered by it, they don't know that they're an actor. They don't know that they're playing a role. They don't know that they're consciousness running the human avatar, and they're still identifying with the human avatar. So you plan with them is like, do you want to be the kid poking the ants and using the magnifying glass and just burning them? Do you want to be that kid? No. There's a soul in there. I have to time out if there's narcissistic abuse, verbal abuse, gaslighting going on. You set a boundary and you block, and then you cut that out, and you're to cut it out. What show, pardon me. Like, really set those boundaries. So I just have to say that. But if this is just someone in your life that's peripheral, that is triggering for you, just be grateful for that trigger and move along with grace. And say, thank you. Thank you. You just don't participate. You can't act like you're better, because later on down the line, there will be a moment that you're like, wow, I acted like a son of a nutcracker back there. I think that's it. It's gonna be me. I'm excited for this month. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I really do. I think that a lot of people that have might been in holding patterns are going to be given, maybe with that Jupiter transit, those extended opportunities, those extended offerings. And you're going to be able to learn what you learned with the Mercury and Aries retrograde and that whole transit. This is how I communicate. This is what I ask for. This is how I negotiate. This is how I do all of these things. Also check your ruling planets. And well, I have to say, like, for Scorpio risings, your ruling planet is Pluto, but also Mars. So really, for your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign, like, check those planets and see what's going on with that. Leo and Cancer, I would say check. Leo's run by the sun and Cancer's run by the moon, so definitely don't just follow those transits, but check your moon and your rising sign as well. So, like, I want you to have some inner planets, some outer planets that if you're new, you can check up on those and see what's going on there. If you're super duper new, please go download the Birth Chart Basics. It's like $7.77. And if you are keen to really do some work on yourself, Patron group is for you. And if you need a hand to hold, just call me and we'll set up a one-on-one session. Processing, it's like a therapy session, birth chart reading, astrology reading, channeling session, tarot reading if you're keen, tarot parties, events, and stuff like that. I'm booking events right now for June. Yeah, for June. May, I'm taking one-on-one clients, but not events right now. yeah, May, we can set up a one-on-one, and then June for events and things like that. And for the Corporate Court Jester Program, June is available for you as well. So all the descriptions are in my About section. There's more information on my website as well, and I'll put together a little Canva, a little menu for you. Going into May. I love you. Thank you for being here.